Hello friends. Uh, in this session, we will discuss these interview questions. So in the earlier sessions, we have discussed this much questions, okay, interview questions, and in before that session, we have discussed these all things, okay. So in this current session, we will focus on these questions, okay. So let's start with the first question: How to pass data from parent to child component in React? Okay. So if this question is passed, then you can tell the answer that we will use the props, and with the help of props we will send data from parent to child. Okay. So now the second question is how to pass data from child to parent, means opposite of the first one. Okay. So in that case we will pass a event or method, you can say, as a props inside our child component, and if inside from child can component, uh, child will send data filled with as a parameter inside that method, means that method from the props will be called from the child and it will execute into your parent. So the parent will get the value with the help of event bubbling. Okay. So child will send the event, whatever the method will be passed by the parent as a props, and child will call it and pass the whatever the data you want to send to parent. Okay, and parent will receive from this method. Okay, so how to pass data to sibling components? Okay, so if you have sibling components, means the components and then another component, and they are not nested, so how to pass data in that? Okay, so the main thing is to the basic for the React is routing. So you can pass your data with the help of like routing. You can store your data in the query string or in the route parameter. Okay, route params. Okay, and you can use in any other component. And the second one is the help of redux. So you can create a center store and you can use with the help of redux. And there are much more, like you can use the local storage, session storage, local storage, cookies. Okay, what are the hooks that are most used? Okay, so the we have already discussed that about the hooks which are mostly used. So basically use hook, use state, and use uh, effect, use context, use reference. These are all the mostly used reference of the sorry, or mostly used hooks which are mostly used. What are custom hooks? Basically you can also create your own custom hooks. So we have a already a session on that, so you can search in our channel. We have a custom hook example there. Okay, tutorial, and inside that hook we will create a hook. Okay, and then give it name like use. So using the keyword use we will define the hook name so that anyone can understand by saying that use means it will be a hook. Okay, so basically custom hooks you can create, and similarly you can use inside your any component. Okay, so basically what we do separate common functionality or common calculation or logic inside our hook, and we use like if you can create a huge fetch to get all the API. Okay, means API data. To get the API you will create a hook called use fetch. You can separate the API call using the use effect inside a hook, which is called the custom hook. Okay. How to increase your React application performance? So basically you can increase your React application performance with the help of your component mm, memo. If you are using functional component, you can use memo. You can also use memo hook inside your functional component to use large heavy, means heavy complex calculations or nested calculations or logics, and you can use callbacks Those callbacks are also used to increase your performance. Okay, these all four can be used to increase your performance, and most thing is to reuse your components, reuse components, and you can create HOC whether required. Okay, and you can also create use the help of render props and context. So if you use all these things in your application, you will definitely increase your performance. And always remember to destroy your memory. Yes, unsubscribe. Okay, and use the key if in loop. If you are binding data in loop, you use the key, so it will also increase your performance. Okay, so these are all the things which you can consider while creating a React application, so to increase your performance. Also, one thing you can use the lazy loading. Lazy loading will be implemented on component wise, component level, data level. Let's suppose you are showing multiple data, you can load small data and then you can go on the scroll or something. Okay, or you can use lazy loading on the image as well, images. Okay, so these are the things you can consider while developing into a application. Okay, what is SSR? SSR is server-side rendering. Means if you request a page, it goes to the server, and the server creates the React page and send it to the browser. Okay, so this is called server-side rendering. So this basically helps us to achieve SEO. Means SEO optimized applications. If you need SEO optimized applications, we need SSR rendering. Okay, and we can achieve with the help of Next.js, which is a React.js framework. So you can use Next.js to achieve SEO called SSR, server-side rendering. What are interceptors? Interceptors are basically a middleware for request response. Middleware gateway, or you can say request response handler. So basically, it's a middleware gateway, or you can say the request response handler for the API, where you can set your authentication JWT header inside your headers. Okay, or you can handle error handling of status received inside your API response. Okay, so these are basically a gateway from which all the API passes. So you don't have to write your separate logic for handling error of the API calls, or for the handling of JWT token authentication. Okay. So how to start a project in React? So for that you will have to use create React app. So this is the basically library which helps you to create the React from scratch with a basic setup called scaffolding. Okay. You can also how to start a new project in React with TypeScript. So for that you will have to use this command with another command called template TypeScript. So if you pass this parameter inside this with this script, you will get this TypeScript that is inside your React application. Now the next question is, do TypeScript necessary for React.js? No. You can also work with React normal plain JavaScript, but yes, TypeScript is beneficial to manage all the things. So you should definitely use TypeScript. Next question is, what is difference between browse router and hash router? Basically, browse router helps you to achieve a routing for your single page application. So you can have like /home /about inside your application. So it just basically helps to create this route. Okay. And if you have hash router there, then it will help you to create the route like this with using the hash, with the help of hash. So it will separate your custom routing with the help of like this with using the hash router. Okay. So this will be with the browser router, and these all will be for hash router. Okay, so you can choose both. You can choose one of them. Okay, how to use Bootstrap in React application? So in React application, you can use Bootstrap using three ways. First one is directly calling CDN link. Okay, on your index.html. Okay, second one is you can use Bootstrap with the help of npm package. You can install it into it, and for that you will need supporting like jQuery and Hopper.js. Okay. Third one is you will, if you use the another package like npm react bootstrap. Okay, if you uses this library of the React Bootstrap, then you will get the components. Okay, you don't need to have place classes. Here you will get class. Here you will also get class name. Okay, but here you will get components. You will use components like table, like row. You will have like this component. Okay. Now the next question is, what is the use of use memo hook? Use memo hook is used to keep the extensive logics or calculation inside the memory, so that after re-rendering we just only use call and use that saved values. Okay, so we will just save the value inside some memory, and we reuse that one when something updates inside your component. So the same logic which is expensive, means which takes much memory, will not be executed more and more if some updation is done inside your component. So what is the use of callback hook? So callback hook is basically used when you are using the memo inside your function component. So if you are passing, if you using method as props. So if you are using method as props in any component, then and you are using memo, then only you will have to use the use callback, and then you will send this method to as a prop, so that use callback will store the initialized function object inside the memory, and next time if you re-render, then it will have the same initialized function or method with you, so that there will be no change. Because if you will pass a method and you will not use callback, then memo will not work. Okay, because memo will think that the next means another function is coming. The function is coming is another function, means the function has been changed as a parameter. Okay. Now the question is, what is destructing props and state? So basically, destructing means whatever the props and the state is just an object. So you have to destruct them, means you have to break them and call whatever you want to use. And because if your props or state is a large object, you have to carry it anywhere if you don't do destruction. Okay, so for that we use like that. If you want to have some variable like name in props, you can take it out like props. So the benefit is that you don't need to write this dot props everywhere. You just need to name like name. If you have something or like ID data, you can write like this. If you are using the state, same for the state. State may be also be a big object. So for that you have also to use like that. You have to destruct. In the case of function component, you don't need have to this. Okay, you will have to don't need also this state if you unless your object is or means state object is of large size. What is context in React? So basically context in React is to just to pass data, okay, inside the component level. Okay, so to avoid passing props to props to props inside the nested to the nested to the last child, what we do that just create a context and we just wrap the all the main parent, whatever the main parent component is you are using for in which you are needed for the context. You just passed this one, and you should have here context provider. Okay, and here also you can write provider, and you will just pass the value. If you don't pass the value, you will have the default one. Okay, so you can pass your value here, and you will get this value inside this main, whatever the nested components it have, you can access. Okay, in function component, if the function component you are using, then you use context hook. Okay, to use the context. But if you are using the class component, then you have to use context type to set the context, and if you want to receive, then you will have to just use this dot context inside your this context will be inside your class component, but this dot context type will be set outside class after declaring the class. Okay, so class dot context type, you can set the context, and this is, and to create the context you will have create context react dot. So you can create your own context using with the help, and you can set the default value here. Okay, so this is basically the context in React. So we have covered all the interview questions in 4 parts. Okay, you can go for the first, second, third, and fourth sessions. So this is the 4th session and the last session. Okay. Okay, thanks for watching.